Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all our viewers and learners in this very special series of webinar. I am Renu Bhatt with you all and you are watching us live on eVidya channels from channel number 6 to 12. And apart from all those channels, you are with us on our YouTube channel as well, that is NCERT Official. And dear learner, as you know, we are having an online training program. It's a 5 days online training program and today is day 4th. And this online training is on safe online communication organized by CIT NCERT in collaboration with Cyber Peace Foundation. The topic that we are going to discuss today in this particular and specific webinar is responsible and safe networking on social media sites. So what exactly social media is all about? We are joined by our experts. Let's meet her. You are Miss Ruma Purkayast, you are counselor and former principal from Navy Children's School, New Delhi. Very warm welcome, ma'am. स्वागत है आपका. And before ma'am we start this particular discussion, let me share some certain information to all our viewers out there. In case they have any query and they want to share their experience or they want to ask any question from you, they can reach out to us through our various mediums. You can call us on our telephone number, that is 8800 440 559. Either you can drop a mail at our email address, that is training.helpdesk@cit.nic.in. and apart from those mediums, you can reach out to us through our YouTube channel as well, that is NCERT Official. You have to go to the live chat box and then you can drop your comment out there with all your queries and doubts. Our expert will be happy to answer all your queries. And before we start this particular session, let me share some very important piece of information regarding India's G20 presidency. We are indeed very proud that India assumed G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation that deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks to play an important role by finding pragmatic global solutions for the well-being of all. And in doing so, manifests the true spirit of Vasudha Kutumbakam, or we can say the whole world is one family. With that very important piece of information, let's quickly, without any further delay, let's quickly start this session in which we are going to discuss about responsible and safe networking on social media sites. And ma'am, if we talk about social media sites, it's a very frequent word we use these days, right? So what exactly social media sites are? Can you please throw light on this, ma'am? Ruma ma'am.
And good evening and namaste to everybody who's watching. As you know, today's topic is responsible and safe networking on social media sites. And ma'am, very rightly, let us first understand what is social media. Now, everybody is on social media, but what is it? I would initially like to say that it's a kind of communication. We earlier would communicate through the newspaper. Now there are so many other ways of communicating that I think the newspaper seems to have lost its charm. So when we talk about social media, we are talking of websites. So it's a collective term that we use for websites, applications, which are helping us to communicate. They are based on the communities that we are from and a lot more. Basically, it allows us to keep in touch. So social media, if I have to define it, websites and applications that enable users to create content, share content, and to participate in social networking. Participate in social networking is when we communicate with each other, when we talk to each other over the internet. Now, basically, social media is collective because it's all the websites together. There are so many. Communication, two-way process. I write something, I get an answer back. To give you a very, very basic example, it's community-based. It can be from your own community, or we have so many social media communities also, and we become part of so many communities, depending on what we like, what we dislike, what our inclinations are, etc. We interact. It's an interactive process. It's not something that is one way. It's interactive. When I interact, I share content. I receive content and I share content and I collaborate. When I collaborate, I'm doing group work. A lot of my social skills are also coming into play. We will come to that later. So social media is very closely related to networking. When we use all these internet-based social media sites, it helps us to stay connected with our friends, with our family, with our colleagues, with customers, clients. As teachers, we connect to students. Students connect to us. So it's a way of connecting, and that is networking. Networking happens face to face also. That we call that social networking. This is social online networking. All right. So that is what is social media. Now, social media helps us do research. It gives us a lot of reviews. When we want to go somewhere, we first look at the reviews of that place.
Right.
And then we decide whether we are going to go there or not. Then we look at the maximum number of reviews. Are the maximum number of reviews positive or negative? Then we take a decision. We share images, we share videos. There are certain sites where you only share this. Good or bad, should we do or not, we'll come to later. There are video hosting sites. There are community blogs, there are discussion sites. There may be many more. But each one of us has to find which is the type of social media network that is right for you, because it varies from person to person, where you are from, what your age group is, what is the kind of work you do, which is the kind of school you go to, etc., etc. I've only listed Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok because there are so many. And I won't be surprised if while I'm speaking to you, some new thing has come on the block also. There are so many new things coming every day. So there are n number of social media sites that are available to us. Now, when I come to responsible social networking, I think what we need to remember is that I must be myself and I must be nice. When I say be nice, the kind of language we use, the kind of content we share, don't put something that you would not like to read about yourself. Then why write about another person? Be yourself. Follow rules. If something says don't join before 18, what is the need to call yourself 18 if you're 13 years old? Don't do it. And that's what is happening most of the time. We fake ages, we fake a lot of things. So be yourself. Set limits. If you're doing homework, put the social media site away. If you have a deadline to finish and submissions to be done, don't take it on at that time. So limit yourself. Take breaks. Nothing wrong in some amount of social networking. Don't share your passwords. You're constantly told don't share passwords. We know there's so much. And in this training program, I'm sure you've been exposed to how frauds happen. And it's very easy for predators to pounce and get information out of us, to lull us into all kinds of things that we shouldn't be doing. Learn about privacy settings. I'm going to harp on this. Any site you go to, there are privacy settings. We ignore it. But it's important to learn about the various privacy settings that everyone says, that the site gives you. And review often. Review your passwords often. Review what you're writing. Review what is happening. Review yourself very often. When I also talk about using social media responsibly, I'm going to talk about these few points. Share mindfully. Be careful about what you share. Because in this world, you can share almost anything. But be careful. Don't give out a lot of personal information. Where I live, what I do, where I stay. No. Give just that much that is required. So be careful about what you give. If you're going to look at privacy settings, you will be mindful. Keep your emotions in check. We read something, we immediately want to answer. Why? Let's take a moment. Words once said, don't go away, don't go away. We know that, of course, we have the option to delete. But we all know that in the internet, nothing really gets deleted. Somewhere or the other, you have access to it, somewhere or the other. So take a moment, because very often when we answer in the moment, we don't always say what we should be saying. So take a moment and check. And that's why I said keep emotions in check. Because, there's this famous saying that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. So I'm not saying you're angry here, but take a moment, keep your emotions under check. Be selective. Be selective about who you follow. Be selective about who follows you also. Don't feed the trolls. When you hear about negative things, don't feed it, ignore it. So be selective about who you follow. And remember that it's just a post. It's not life. Don't take everything to heart. Make a portfolio. Talk about the things that you do. If you won an award, if you've done something creative, if you've done something which is, something for a social organization. There's so many things that you can do. So make a portfolio of your work, put it out, especially if you're looking for internships, if you're looking for jobs. It's good to build up your portfolio instead of putting up unnecessary information. And of course, if you're going to use social media responsibly, please limit your screen time. I don't need to go into details about how so much screen time is damaging physically to our mental health, to our eyes, to our body postures, to everything. Just a little bit of information I wanted to share with you. This could well be redundant because this was may have changed because this was taken about 15 days ago. Teenagers usually spend 8.5 hours in a day. Now, I wonder where that 8.5 hours come from, because you spend about 7 to 8 hours, school children spend about 7 to 8 hours in school, which means that the rest of the time you are on social media.
Right.
Which is scary, which means you're not really taking part in so many other things, not playing, not going out, etc., etc. It was understandable when we were all in the lockdown situation, but not now, now that we've returned to normal. 79% use social media and online videos at least once a week. This is not so alarming, once a week, provided it is once a week. 32% say, I cannot live without YouTube. YouTube has become addictive. We're constantly, and the influencers and all these people that are there, they are making money off you. It's good if you are learning something, it's very good. But then be careful about the kind of influencer you follow. It's very easy to get trapped into this. Now, tweens are the children who are just before the tween, just before you hit 13. So we're talking about 11 to 12. 65% watch TV. Now, here I have not said smart tab or an iPad or whatever, but it could well be, because the TV, when we talk about viewing, it gets, it's either TV or something else. 64% watch online videos. 43% play games every day. And look at the amount of time an 8 to 12-year-old spends on the screen. So while screen time is good, we'll see why it's good, we also need to be cautious about how much we use. While we are using social media, let's think of a few etiquettes. There are some manners, there are some things that we must follow in everything. The please, the thank you, the sorry, the magic words. So we may not have magic words when we talk about social media. They are there, definitely. But a few etiquettes that if we follow, will be safe, will be responsible, will be happy. Know how much to post. You don't have to post everything. Post what is required. It will vary from person to person, because somebody once asked me how much posting is okay. Now that's something that you have to decide. But you don't have to post everything. You decide for yourself, how much am I going to post. Be smart. Now when I say be smart, I am referring to, there's a very tight line between knowing how much to post and how to post. So understand what you are posting. Understand how much is good, how much is required. And in this, if you remember, don't overdo it. Don't keep putting posts one after the other. After some time, people will stop watching. Don't overdo it. Let your posts not be harassing. It doesn't help when your posts harass somebody. If you really want to connect, instead of sending an email out to everyone, get personal. Send a personal message out. So be smart when you are dealing with social media. Give and take like any other, anywhere else, any other interaction. This is the golden rule of social media. Treat other people's content the way you would want them to treat your content. I write something, I want you to say it's very nice. But then why shouldn't I say it's very nice when you write something? Isn't it? So treat other people's content the way you would want your content to be treated. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't like it, you have to say it's nice, but there is a nicer way of putting it across, that You could be polite about it, that I don't agree with it, or I whatever. However, we have to agree to disagree. So give and take is works equally well in internet media as much as it works in face-to-face interaction. Add to the conversation, add value. Don't put things that are of no consequence. Put something which is of value, which is going to interest the other person. Don't put out things like which are complaining, which are where you're talking only about myself and I'm making myself appear to be larger than I am, I'm making myself self-grand, I'm making myself very grand. Don't preach too much. Don't give out too much information. Post information that is only interesting to yourself. Oh, why? Put out things that would interest other people. If I'm only going to post things where I went, what did I do, after some time you're going to lose interest. Others are going to lose interest. So once in a while, do put out something. Maybe you've read something nice, you'd like to share it. Maybe you found a good quotation. Why not share it with others? So put out things that will be of interest to other people. And don't be rude. Rudeness doesn't add to anything. We don't solve anything by being mean and rude. And of course, play by the rules. Every situation has certain rules. So play by the rules. And remember, your posts don't last very long. I think a Twitter post lasts some 20, 25 minutes, if I'm not wrong. A LinkedIn would last about 24 hours. Maybe an Instagram would also last about 24 hours to 48 hours. People forget. A Facebook also maybe 24 hours, 48 hours. After some time, there are so many other posts that goes down. So before posting, remember the life of that post also. So play by the rules. Whatever rules are given, please play by them, follow them. You will definitely be better off. So this is something about social media and responsible social media. And I hope all of you are going to follow that.
Right. Ma'am, we all are into social media, right? We all use social media frequently and very much into it. Yet we are craving about it and we are complaining about it. So does it not have any positive impact, ma'am?
Yes, I agree with you, ma'am, that everybody is on social media, but everybody cribs. Oh, ये क्या हो गया? सारा time बच्चे आजकल मोबाइल पे ही होते हैं. We hear that all the time, don't we?
Right.
So, but what? Social media has its advantages, and I'm very sure that has a lot of positive impact on us too. It's made life simpler. When we talk about being, being happy with social media, we are looking at being positive and feeling good. So as long as we're getting a positive and feel good factor, social media is fine. But this positive and feel good factor should be in good circumstances. We have to accept that life is digital by default. We have all become, we're not digital natives, but we've all become digital migrants. At least I'm a digital migrant. So we have to look at what is its impact on mental health. Now, technology has impacted our physical, mental, and emotional health. There is no denying that. But before I go on to that, now, when I talk about social media and what is its positive impact, I'm going to talk about a few things. Social well-being. Well-being is feeling good about myself, being positive, being happy, being content in my life. And I use social media to be just that. But social media has a very positive impact on my social well-being because it helps me from being isolated. I maintain relationships. My loneliness comes down. I'm connected with many people. I participate in so many things. I have more and more opportunities to do what I want to do. I can choose what I want to do. Personal well-being. It gives me a sense of identity. I was just talking about giving out correct information. We have lots of cases where children don't, or even adults, don't give out their real identity, but they give out some other identity, something that they wish to be. But at the end of it, social media is helping you to develop your personal identity. It's giving you a sense of self-worth. Who am I? I'm good. I can do this. I can do that. Why can't I do it? The very fact that we are capable of, children handle these electronic gadgets and devices so well, you feel good about it. You feel, yes, I can do it. So that's self-worth. Enjoyment, it gives you enjoyment. You have nothing to do. You sit and I know a lot of people who sit and see reels and in shorts and all those kind of things. It gives you a sense of feeling good. It's convenient. You are connected to everybody and anybody. It's easily accessible. Everybody has mobile data. You may be anywhere. Everywhere there's Wi-Fi. So it's so accessible. If you use social media well, it can also help your physical health. We have so many apps where you do yoga, you take care of health, you do gymming, you do so many things. So it's helping your social well-being, it's helping your personal well-being, it helps in learning. And for students, especially for students and teachers, it gives us alternatives in learning. If I can't learn here, if I don't have a textbook, I can go to the net and see what's there. I can download a book, even if I don't want to print out. There's so much content on the net that I can take out. We do online collaborations. There could be a student here in India and one could be somewhere else, and you are collaborating and doing activities. You can do multiple learning activities at the same time. It's so easy. You can practice and upgrade yourself. All the time we are upgrading ourselves. Obviously, this gives you better access to learning. And even in terms of assessments and feedback, there's so much. You can do self-assessments. You get to know about yourself. So there's a whole world available in terms of learning also. If you are at work could be anything, any profession that you're in. Social media helps you to stay better connected, better communication. You don't have to wait. There were times earlier one had to wait to reach a landline and then call. A simple thing like a phone, you can be connected anywhere. Emails, Instagrams, WhatsApps, I mean, everything is there. Global collaborations are they're not difficult at all now. It's work. There's a lot of flexibility. Work from home, work from somewhere, timings. It helps you to manage overload. There's lots to be done. If you are tech savvy, you can do it much faster. You can create your own online professional identity. And I think a lot more, I think 80% of professionals are doing that. There is an online, LinkedIn is a huge base where a lot of professional identities are there. There are many more. And it's easy to be linked to others. That helps you in your work. Now, social media wellness, well-being. This is the positive impact that social media has on our lives. Because we're actively interacting with people, we're sharing messages and posts, we're commenting with close friends. And we also talk about the past on social media. You know, we put out pictures and photos. Facebook shows you pictures of what happened 5 years ago.
Right.
What happened 2 years ago. And then you share it with someone and you feel good. Oh, really? 2 years ago, this is what I was doing at this time. So that's a good feeling. So reminiscing about past interactions, which is again good for your social wellness. When you share messages and posts with friends, you feel nice. When you comment with close friends, also you feel nice. So when I talk about social media wellness, I'm referring to the fact that social media wellness is one of the most positive impacts that social media has on us. And let's take it positively. Now, we can improve we can also call it digital well-being, we can call it social media well-being, whatever. We can improve this. And I will take a minute here to go through this. Let us be aware of ourselves, what we are doing. Let us try and express ourselves better. If we don't know how to express ourselves better, let's learn. There's enough in the digital world to teach you how to express yourself. Take time to think. Remember I said keep emotions in check? Deal with your stress. Let's not get into digital anxiety. I will come to that later. Maintain a balance between your digital world and your real world. Be active both digitally and physically. Find a purpose and meaning in your life. Why am I doing this? Why am I posting this? If I'm writing a blog, why am I writing on a blog? Is it only because I want to be visible? Or is it because I want to reach out to people and say something? Stay positive. At least 80% of the time, stay positive. Nobody can stay positive 100% of the time. But at least 80% of the time, stay positive. Connect with others. Learn new skills. Digital world, there's so much opportunity to learn something new. As I said, give to others and be mindful. Now, one of the biggest benefits that social media, and as ma'am pointed out, we crib and we crib and we crib, but we forget that this is one of the major impacts that we've had, building relationships and staying connected. You connect with friends you haven't met for 20 years, for 40 years. You track people, you build relationships. You met somebody, you don't have time to talk every day, but there is a relationship because somewhere social media has made it easy for you to connect with that person. Even if it's not every day, maybe once a week you would connect. So building relationships and staying connected is one of the main positive effect of social media. When you are in this share, you can stay connected, feel, have a healthier relationship. When you're building relationships, share your expertise, increase your visibility, educate yourself, and connect anytime. Now, social media helps you to be aware. Use social media as a learning aid, please. Participate, understand the exposure that it gives you, and take that exposure positively. Learn to differentiate between what I should do and what I shouldn't do. Social benefits, there are plenty. It gives you a sense of well being. You can do a good networking. You can get into good, healthy behavior when you follow these various apps and, do this at this time, do that at that time, eat healthy, exercise, etc. This healthy behavior. And of course, one of the main benefits is to stay in touch. Now, one of the most healthy habits to make sure the impact of social media is positive, be intentional. Have a good intention when you are putting out something on social media or when you are connecting. Connect with your real life friends. It doesn't help to have 1,000 friends on Facebook and not a single friend otherwise. Limit the time you spend scrolling each day. Scrolling is almost like an addiction. When you have nothing to do, you pick up your phone and you start scrolling. So don't get there. Follow people and pages that bring you joy. So be selective about whom you follow and who brings you joy. Try to avoid social media before bedtime because then sleep patterns get affected. Live in the moment. It's okay. Aaj nahi hua doesn't matter. Heavens are not going to fall. Live in the moment. Please take a break whenever you feel a break is required. Now we need to wonder about how much is too much.
Right.
So, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
How
Matt.
much is too much? We really have no idea about how much is too much. Sometimes too much can create negativity. So, what are our challenges? We talked about all the positives. Let's look at what makes it not positive. I don't like to use the word negative. What makes it not positive? When we talk about strengths and weaknesses, I always like to say what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at. It's not a weakness, it's what I'm not so good at. So, what are the challenges that we face if we have to look at the negative aspects of social media and responsible social work? Kind of screen time. We've been talking about screen time all this time. Digital overload. By digital overload, I mean there is so much information outside in the digital world, in the digital space. Sometimes, you get overloaded. My God, I have to read 10 essays before I write one essay. You put in a word onto Google and you're searching for something, the search engine will show you some 15 things. And you wonder, am I going to read all these 15 to take a decision about what to do? So, save yourself from digital overload. Restrict yourself to, okay, I'm going to do only 5, I'm going to do only 2. Become better, learn to use the search engine better. Learn to use the search engine more specifically. Please be aware, learn, educate yourself about online safety. I'm sure in this training program, you've all been exposed to lots of things on online safety. Guard against addictive behavior. I just said a little while ago that scrolling nowadays seems to be addictive. One can go on spending hours and hours on YouTube watching reels. This is all addictive behavior because it's all taking away from precious time. So if you're going to handle The negative impact, let's understand that these are our challenges. Of course, some basic things are always there, which I'm sure all of you know, but I would still: poor sleep, eye fatigue, physical inactivity, obviously, because you're sitting,
Hmm.
lying down, sitting, different positions. We have postural problems. Spine is hurting, back is hurting, head is hurting, legs are hurting, because it's very sedentary. It worsens mental health issues because we start living in the digital world. It's escapism. I am there, so I'm not connected with what's happening in my real life. So if there is a mental health issue, if you are someone who's prone to anxiety, someone who's prone to stress, someone who likes to procrastinate and not do work, it's only going to get worse. Because this is escapism. No, I'll just watch two videos and I'll join. But then two goes to 4 to 6, and then suddenly 3 hours have gone. Oh, time's over now. How can I do it? But I have not dealt with the real issue. So that can be a huge negative impact. If you have mental health issues that are worsening, obviously there will be an increased risk for depression because you are not learning the skills that you need to cope with the issues that you have. Poor cognition, poor learning habits, poor intellect, because a lot of people will say that, okay, very good on the internet, she can do everything. Okay, you can do everything on the internet, but we need to live in the real world. We need to learn things in the real world also. So it leads to poor learning habits if it is not done properly. Language. We don't talk. We are writing. We are talking in our heads. So that actual talking we don't do. Where will my language skill develop? The vocabulary, the language skill, the expression develops only when we speak and hear. Social emotional skills. I'm only interacting with who's on the other end or with what my device is showing me.
Hmm.
How will my emotional skills develop? Leads to anxiety, depression. We cause self harm. And of course, in an extreme case, it can lead to suicidal thoughts. So these are some of the negative impacts, but if not handled well, because you see, the digital world is here to stay, it's not going anywhere. So the earlier we understand how it works and what we need to guard against, the better and easier for us. Now, for teenagers especially, it's very distracting. Their patterns are affected. They are exposed to bullying, cyberbullying. Everyone is aware of all the cyberbullying that happens and all the emotional ramifications of it. Rumor spreading. One
Hmm.
post goes from here to there, here to there, here to there, and before you know, somebody has been made a victim. Unrealistic views. Teenagers are, as it is, coping with their own identity, with adolescence, with growing, with body issues, with identity issues. On top of that, there are rumors and there are unrealistic views. And of course, there is a lot of peer pressure. Even little children now want mobiles, and I see that a lot of little children carry mobiles. Well, I guess it's their parents' decision, but I think one has to be judicious before we give children mobiles. For younger children, there's poor cognition. I talked about this earlier. When young children live in the digital world, they find it very difficult to differentiate between the digital world and the real world. And I have come across children who would interact and laugh with a comic character but would not talk to you face to face.
Very true.
This is very, very commonly seen nowadays in children, and it has been called the mobile syndrome. Because they don't, and as a result of which, they don't learn emotional skills, they don't learn social interaction, their language takes very long to develop, they speak later. That's why we see so many cases of delayed speech. So for younger children, we have to really be cautious the amount of social media that they use. So it's important to understand how digital interaction works and to understand that it does not replace social interaction. Manage your digital overload, engage mindfully, make careful choices, ensure that there is no overuse. How do I stay safe? I have to be aware. I have to understand the positive impact and the negative impact. I have to do it myself. So if I'm aware, I will be able to do it. What are the risks? Cyberbullying, invasion of privacy, identity theft. There are many more. I've only listed three here. So please understand that these are the risks of social media. These are the negative impacts. And I have to stay safe and away from these. I have to be aware of the kind of possible threats there could be. What are the security threats that are happening? And I'm sure you've done all this. How do I manage my personal data? How do I manage my online reputation? Online reputation is a huge thing. And as I said earlier, the internet actually never loses anything. Somewhere or the other, that something can be digged out. There are enough experts who can do that. And it's best to avoid harmful or illegal content. Sometimes we get into illegal content, not realizing that somewhere or the other, one does get caught. Never share photographs, videos, anything other than text, as long as you can help it. Don't post what you don't want others to see. Don't always assume it's private. Once it goes out into the world, it's not really private. Please ignore requests from strangers. Review before you post anything. Be careful what you say. Repeatedly, again, I'm saying check out for privacy settings. Please do not share your location. You're giving away a lot of information. Once in a while, yes, as fun. But it's very harmful to share your location all the time, and do not overshare. Again, disable geotagging in case you don't understand. Geotagging is nothing but indicating your location. Lock your device securely, sensitive information. Be very careful when you update. We make a lot of errors when we update. Check before you download something. And of course, why should I limit myself? I have to ask myself, because there will be lack of sleep. It's leading to obesity because we're only sitting. Children are seeing delayed milestones. They're not learning to speak, read, and write at the time that they should. Academic performance is suffering. There are behavior issues, and there are a lot of other things that are related to these on the left-hand side. One thing before we close, why do students use social media? Three basic things. It gives them many ways to connect. It's like a necessary daily activity. It's a learning opportunity. So if I understand this and follow it securely, there should be no problems. So as a student, what do I need to do? If there are students watching, please follow these things. Turn off notifications. Notifications can be very, very, distracting. Watch your time. Follow with a purpose. Don't do mindless scrolling. Avoid baits. There are always baits coming your way. And it's so tempting to, okay, let me watch this little bit. Monitor your emotions. Remember, likes are not self-worth. If you get 100 likes, it doesn't mean that, you're super duper. So build a positive digital reputation. Try and give your phone rest at night. Students, remember that your pages must represent you. Don't post anything that paints you in a bad light. It's as simple as that. Stay in control of your content feed. Do not give the reins of putting content on your behalf to anybody else. Understand policies, manage your time, keep yourself safe from strangers. It's the same thing as when I said avoid baits. Don't post everything. And dear students, please keep your parents in the loop. Please keep adults in the loop. Whoever you are close to, an elder sibling, anybody in the family, a teacher, a grandparent or parent, anyone, always have an adult in the loop. If there are any questions, ma'am, we can take it up or we can head towards
Ma'am,
the
please
closure.
continue, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Before I sign off, I have this very interesting question about this was a question somebody asked me.
Okay.
How does social media make you feel? And my answer was that if I'm happy and I'm content and I'm joyous, then I'm happy with my social media. I'm fulfilled. But I don't know whether it happens everybody. Because the problem is that as humans, we love to compare ourselves to others. And social media gives us enough opportunity to do that. We are always comparing ourselves to others. And when we compare ourselves to others, it creates what is called FOMO, fear of missing out. We compare number of places we've been to, how many events have you been to, how many shares. Oh my God, she's got 50 shares and I have only 2. I have
Right.
50 shares, she's got 500 shares. ये क्या हो गया? You know, she's got so many likes. मेरे पोस्ट को तो किसी ने like नहीं किया.
Hmm.
So many likes that person has got. Oh, she's already visited some 10 cities. We don't know whether she's actually visited 10 cities or she's just put out something. Isn't it? How many followers? She's got more followers than me. She's attending so many events. And what happens? Fear of missing out. So when I am consumed with this feeling that I am missing out something on social media, is its biggest negative impact. And that is not a good feeling. Because then what happens is this is what creates digital anxiety. And like any other anxiety, digital anxiety is, as I've said here, it is caused by negative interactions in emails, texts, social media, chat rooms, and forums. Why am I leaving myself open to digital anxiety? So, as humans, of course, we compare. I also probably do as much as you do. But we have to guard against it because there's no point in developing FOMO and then getting digitally anxious and having stress and then collapsing and not being able to do anything. So that becomes one of the biggest negative impacts. So when somebody asks me, how does social media feel? Social media makes me feel happy, fulfilled, content, but I don't want to get into FOMO. I am who I am. I have my own identity. I must not have FOMO. Okay?
So, ma'am,
So-
where should we draw the line, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Where should we draw the line, ma'am? I think it's very important for us to understand that if I am getting consumed by social media, that means any and every time that I have, I'm on social media, it's time to watch out. When I'm not doing anything other than social media, it's time to watch out. I don't want to go out and meet my friends. I don't want to go out and play. I'm even procrastinating about my homework. Then I need to worry. That means it's becoming more addictive. Then social media is going to lead me to FOMO. So I need to be. And I've put a few questions here. If you can ask yourself these questions, there are no right or wrong answers. But if you ask yourself, am I upset because something happened? Am I upset because I was unable to control the important things? Ask yourself these questions in the digital world. Am I feeling nervous and stressed because somebody else has already posted and I have not posted? Oh my God. I'm being left out. I'm stressed. Am I confident about being able to handle any personal problem that arises in digital media for me? If I'm confident, I will know who to approach, what to do, check my privacy settings, go to an adult for help. And there's nothing wrong in asking an adult for help. Everybody doesn't know everything. Adults also ask adults for help.
Right.
So it's not that only children are going to ask, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So I could well be asking help from somebody who's 20 years younger to me. And there is absolutely no shame in that. You feel things are going your way, watch out here. They're going my way, how? Wow, digitally I have so many likes, I have so many followers. But am I on the right track? What am I getting out of it? A feel-good factor? But is it taking me anywhere? Is my digital reputation right? Am I able to control irritations in my life? Oh my God, the net has gone now. It's so irritating. When is the internet going to come back? So I get irritated with that. That is again not good. I feel I'm on top of things when I feel I'm on top of things when, okay, I've managed to send out this post, I've managed to do this, I've managed to do that. Okay? So ask yourself these questions to understand FOMO.
Okay.
I end with this last slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Ask yourself, are you digitally subsumed? It's different from being consumed. Subsumed is when your whole life revolves around digital media. Do you reach for the phone every few minutes? Do you feel left out when you cannot be on it? When you log into social media, how do you feel? You are not able to keep schedules because of social media. Please ask yourself these 4 questions to understand and know for yourself, are you digitally subsumed or not? And I think if you understand this, you will not have a problem with safe, responsible social network.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are if there are any questions, I'm willing to take.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for being with us and for your detailed information on how we can be a responsible person while using internet and social media. Indeed, we need to keep a lot of things in our mind while using digital space and social media sites. So, with that note, thank you so very much, Ruma ma'am, for being with us and for your detailed information, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all ours. And dear learners and viewers, before I wrap up this webinar, let me share a very important piece of information. As you all know, at the end of these 5 days online training, we will be having a quiz and you can participate in this particular quiz. How you can participate? Let me tell you that you need to write CIET and CIET in your browser and you will land up on this particular page. As you can see, there are a lot of options are there. You have to go to the event section, then you need to go to the workshop and training section, and you can see this particular page.
I think my screen has frozen. I'm not able to see anything.
Ma'am, okay. And dear learners and viewers, as you can see, this is our current activity. You can click on this particular link and you will land up of this particular page, and here you can get all the information regarding this particular online quiz. As you know, this quiz is on safe online communication, and this is the detailed information of all our days, day 1 to day 5, and there will be a webinar. The topic for the tomorrow's session is collaborating and communicating safely on gaming sites. And as you can see the objectives and who can participate in this particular quiz, any one of you can participate, whether you are students, teacher, educator, parent or administrator, you can participate in this particular quiz. And as you can see our program schedule, this is our program schedule. You can watch our earlier sessions as well by clicking on this particular link, and here down there you need to scroll this page, and this there you find a link as well as a QR code. You need to scan this QR code, or either you can click on this particular link as well, so that you can participate and you can register yourself in this quiz. And if you have any query or you are finding any problem, you can mail us. You can mail us on training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in with all your queries. And if you want to send us your feedback, you can share your feedback as well by clicking on this particular link or scan this QR code, or either you can mail us on our email address. We would be happy to have your feedback. And as you know, the topic is safe online communication. We are expecting your participation, so please participate in this quiz, and all the participants out there who are scoring 70% and above 70% will be awarded with a certificate, and we will be launching a quiz tomorrow, or this is a 5-day online quiz. And before I wrap up this particular session, let me share a very important piece of information with you all regarding NCERT's textbooks. NCERT textbooks for the year 2023-24 are available throughout the country, and these textbooks may be purchased directly from NCERT sales counters located at New Delhi, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata and Guwahati. And these sales counters will be functional on all the weekdays, including all the gazetted holidays, Saturdays and Sundays as well, from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And in case if you want the PDF version of all those books, it can also be downloaded online from our website, that is ncertbooks.ncert.gov.in, and these books will be delivered at your doorsteps with no delivery fees. And if you want the PDF version of all those books, it can also be downloaded for free online from NCERT Diksha e-Pathshala website and from our mobile app as well. Please visit our website, that is ncert.nic.in, to know more about the authorized vendors. With that note, me Renu Bhatt is taking your leave, but you stay tuned to eVidya channels and NCERT official YouTube channel for more informative program. Our next session is Sahyog, where we talk about mental well-being of students and the topic that we are going to discuss today in that particular session is maintaining interest in studies after school holidays. Me, Renu Bhatt, is taking your leave. Namaskar.